Hey guys, Nick Punisher Rodriguez here. This is my third video. I was really happy with the first video. Great video, at least in my opinion from my first. I enjoyed it. I thought it went well. Second video, not so great in my opinion. I'm new to this. I don't really have any editing software on my phone or in a computer or anything. I hope to get better over time. Again, my third video. If you didn't notice already from pictures on my Facebook and the PRG and other groups, and my last two videos, the game room has changed completely. I just finished remodeling it. I'm about 98% done. It still needs some more work. My next video will probably be showcasing it, what I've done, where it's at, showing around the room. But for now, yeah, it's all different. It's new. I even traded and sold some things for cash for bills or traded for games I needed. Basically, this video is to give thanks and say thank you. Thank you to all my local stores. Thank you to the PRG, mainly Pittsburgh Retro Gaming, the main group I deal with, the main group that showed me love since day one, the main group that has cheered me on, helped me, gave me tips, and just been there by my side. So many good people. Again, a lot of the local store owners are in it too. I deal with a lot of groups, a lot of stores, but the PRG has been the main group there since like day one. So I just wanted to give thanks. The main thing I'm giving thanks for in this video is actually I got to meet Aaron, a reporter from the Pittsburgh Tribune Review, the Pittsburgh Trib, and he came to my house along with Nate, one of their photographers. Cool guys. We were just here bugging out. My youngest wouldn't leave the room. He's just turned 3. He was in here with us bugging out, pulling games off my shelf. Like, here, play this one. They thought it was adorable. They loved it, and we had a great time. They basically wrote a piece on me, me completing the NES set, the NES library, the official licensed one. And he would just want to know how long, from where, how much, a bunch of basic questions. And I basically told him a little over 2 years ago, I was starting to come home quite often, and the kids wanted to play my Nintendo with me. It was in the closet. They asked me about it. I pulled it out, and we started playing as a family. I also went over this in my first video, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. But to those who didn't see the first video, to give a quick recap, playing with my kids and them showing interest in the NES when they only played like PS3 and the Wii, sometimes PS2, rekindled that fire in me. That my love for years has been predominantly to my action figure collecting. And diorama building, which was something new I was getting into, and taking pictures and stuff. I'm in a group called ACBA, Articulated Comic Book Art, where I was slowly progressing. I went from posting a lot of garbage pictures and started getting a little bit better, so I started posting a lot less and watching and admiring, and I was getting better little by little, and then I stopped making dioramas. I took some time off from making dioramas. I really wanted to get better at the dioramas, and I barely was. I was, but very slow. So I leaned back on diorama, which made me lean back on pictures, and I started focusing into games a little bit, but mainly action figures. Again, kids got me into it. I went nuts, turned into full retard mode, full crack fiend. Like, I need Nintendo games. Ah! I had 77 cartridges for the NES only. I might have had like 10 cartridges for the Super, and so on and so on. I had a handful of games for each system. But again, to finish my recapping, my kids got me back into the NES harder than ever. And I went nuts for the gaming stuff. It was a love that was still in my heart. It might have been in the back of my heart, pushed back, because figures took over for the most part. But it was there. They helped bring it up. And it's been a little over 2.5 years of being nuts. It was just roughly 2 years ago when I made the choice to go after the NES set, my first love. And it wasn't an easy journey, but I've had a lot of help. And I went over that with the reporter. I mentioned a bunch of local stores who have helped me a lot. And I mentioned the PRG. And I do deal with other groups, 64 groups, GameCube groups. Nintendo Trade and Collect has helped me a few times. But PRG is the main group. And I love my local stores to death. I respect them and love them. They've helped me. Love them all. Franchise, small business. Doesn't matter. They've all helped me. I love them all. I shop at them all. eBay is always the last resort. I try to almost never go to eBay. I don't hate eBay. I'm not a fan of all their prices. But eBay is always the last resort. I believe in buying local. It's just a good experience. There's a story behind it. And, not that I'm customer of the year everywhere, but it's nice to know I contributed to my local business. that I helped. It makes me feel good that my money went locally. So yeah, man. So they came through. They wrote a piece, and it actually appeared in Monday, June 19th, 2017's paper. This is June 19th paper. And the story was in area A3. And I'm saying A3 because in bold red letters on the top corner it says A3. So I'm going to go with that. Right there's a picture of me and my 3-year-old Maximus. And here's the article. This is the one that was in the paper. The physical paper. The online story was almost twice as big. Went into more details and had a lot more pictures. Also, when I was referring to my local stores, how they've helped me out in the PRG, I specifically mentioned how one of my best friends is the owner of Warp Zone in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. His name is Kerry Williams. And I also mentioned how, because he asked me, was there a point where I got really discouraged? And I was, yes, there was a few points in time. When I was like 80 games away, when I was like 20-something games away, because I hit walls. And at the end of my journey, when I was at the last 11, I hit a wall hard and couldn't find any of them. And Kerry has said to me at one point, when you get to your last couple of games, if I'm willing to part with one or two of them from my collection that you need, I will, to help you out. Kerry's a good friend. And I was down to my last 11, and I brought it up, and he was like, yeah, what do you need? And I mentioned a couple of them. Nothing too crazy. And he was like, I don't mind parting with this one. Maybe that one or that one. I don't think I want to part with any of the rest. So I was going to get 2 out of him. I guess you could call me a bad friend, but I pressured him into selling me 3. He looked like he wanted to cry, but he sold me 3 from his personal collection. Again, he's trying to complete the NES set. And here he is helping me. When I mentioned that to the reporter, I guess it touched something in his heart that he went and looked for Kerry. He wanted to talk to Kerry. He wanted to almost like interview Kerry too. Ask me about me, my character, if it's true, did I buy them all locally? Did I really take 2 years? And Kerry was like, yes, a lot here, a lot online, Pittsburgh Retro Gaming, other stores. He made posts. He's known. What he did is known, and and he basically gave like a little quote on me. And they put Kerry quoting me and a couple of words from Kerry. Took a few pictures of him. There was like another picture of me, another picture of my son. So the online article, even though I mentioned a few stores and I mentioned 2 or 3 collectors, they only mentioned Kerry. They indirectly mentioned one collector that I mentioned. They didn't mention his name. And how I got bonks from him and a few other rare titles from him in Ohio. Anyways, on June 19th, that story was published both online and in their paper. What I wasn't aware of, that 10 days later, I found out through a text message from a friend, they put me on the front page of the Norwin Star. That is the front page, 10 days later on the 29th. I was not aware of it. It was a huge surprise. I was so excited. It was so humbling. I'm nobody. I was so appreciative. But I went from that initial excitement, like that high point, to immediately going into fear and paranoia. Why? Attention is a good thing and a bad thing. It's nice that over time with all my posts, that's proof that for the last 2 years I've been slowly buying it at local stores because I mentioned the local stores or the person I trade with. I usually tag them. And the last 2 years, every weekend, my posts are from 1 to like 4 a weekend. A weekend, yes, that many. Because I'll hit up 2-3 stores and a flea market. I'll hit up 2-3 stores and a show or event. It consists from maybe a Friday night after work, a full day Saturday, and then maybe something in between work hours on a Sunday, or after work, or both. So that's why there's posts. Because even if I got 1 game at each place I stopped, say I stopped at 4 or 5 games, places that weekend, that's 4 or 5 games and plus I bought. It could be a controller mixed in, it could be an action figure mixed in, but it was merchandise I purchased, video game related merchandise, so I would make multiple posts. And it's funny because as I progressed in my collecting, I would go places. And people would be like, oh, you're that guy that posts a lot. What's your name? Nick or something, right? Yeah. Or The Punisher, right? Yeah. So I post some videos of my kids playing games because my son who just turned 5, he loves Mega Man X. They would randomly play on Nintendo with me by themselves, Super, GameCube, 64. Sometimes I would record videos. Sometimes they go hunting with me, like half the time on the weekends they go hunting with me. So my videos started involving my children for a while. So then it went from, oh, you're that guy who always posts video and your kids are in it sometimes. Yeah, that's me. It was cool to be recognized. Oh, somebody, you're that guy. I post a lot comment. I got quite a bit. Maybe kind of concerned and worried, like if I was posting way too much and maybe I should stop or I was becoming annoying. But I kept going forward. I kept doing it. And it wasn't so much about bragging. It's mainly being excited. I'm just like a big ass kid. And I get really fucking excited. Like, woo! Like, I get like a high. Like, look where I go, my God! Ah! Some Pee Wee Herman shit. Pee Wee's Playhouse. Ah! Like, I'm not even exaggerating or kidding. Like, I'm just a big ass kid at heart. And it's just cool to get tips and help, and people will just inform me of stuff, sales, auctions. So much support from local stores and the gaming community. It's just awesome. It's a positive and beautiful thing, and I love it. Now, the article, unfortunately, the way it was titled, said something of the sorts. I forget the exact words. I should probably grab the article. Hold on. Gaming fanatic conquers quest for ultimate collection. I do not have an ultimate collection. I'm sorry to say that. To me, I love it, and it's an awesome and ultimate collection to me. But I know that I do not have an ultimate collection. Even though this game room, I'm not counting everything that's in the house, all the other systems and toys and collectibles. This game room is only a Nintendo only collection. And this is what I mainly post, because this is just mine. Not this other stuff in the house we all share. This is mine. Not that I don't let my kids play it sometimes, supervised, but this is just mine, and it's just Nintendo. To me, the collection is awesome. To me, the collection is somewhat impressive because some of the key items in here, a full NES set, and I'm 3 games away from having a full N64 set. So to me, that's a little impressive for myself. My collection is nothing. My collection is garbage compared to some of the collections that are out there. Known and unknown. There's collectors and collections we will never ever know about. They don't want anyone to know. They don't care if anybody, they don't need to be known. They just don't care. Whether it's fear or whatever. And again, after this second article, wrong paper, the front page of the Norman Star came out, and I was like, yay! I was so excited. Fear kicked in, because not many people know where I live, but when you start saying that it's an ultimate collection, which, again, pissing people off, supposedly it's impossible to do it in 2 years. If I did do it in 2 years, and it is possible, it had to be all eBay bought. And how much could a tow truck driver make? Multiple comments that were agreed with and repeated in one specific group I won't mention, but I'm sure other people around the world who happen to see the article, wherever it was shared, I'm sure quite a few people felt that way. But I have lots of proof. A couple of thousand people who saw me do it. A couple of shows and events where I went nuts and saved like 2-3 checks and spent like $600, $700, $800, $900 there. Easy. Trips to houses where I spent a couple of $100. Do I have that kind of money? No. Was it responsible for me to spend that kind of money? No. Did I not pay other bills to spend that money that week or that month? Yes. Really irresponsible. I acted like a drug addict on many occasions. I'm not trying to diss drug addicts. I'm just saying the way I acted. Coming in, you got Nintendo games? I need Nintendo games. Where they at? Oh yeah, here's my soul. Drug addict. But I did do it. It is real. And back to the fear for the third time. I'm a big dude. I install security cameras in the front of my house. The back is coming any day now. That don't mean shit. You start naming prices in a paper, or someone just sees the pictures, especially the online one that had my kiosk and other items. I know there was a picture of Tengen Tetris that they took a picture of. I was just saying it was an uncommon game and the most expensive one in the Tengen library, because I have all the Tengen games, I have all the Comerica games. I have unlicensed games too. I'm still slowly getting them all. And that was one of the pictures on the online article. People were like, oh, Tetris. I'm sure they were being sarcastic. It's an uncommon game, and it's the most expensive one in the library. Nothing crazy. Typically like a $70, $80 game. Max, unless it's gone up. Maybe it's dropped. I don't know. But it's roughly like a $70 game. You got good and bad people everywhere you go, man. Every community, every gender, every race, every age. And somebody sees those pictures, they might get the wrong idea. Oh, I'm going to go rob that house. They have to find out where I live first. But they might get a bad idea. And that's why there was some fear and paranoia. But people around these parts, up here in Western Pennsylvania. A lot of these parts around here, these communities, old-fashioned, friendly, nice, quiet communities. There's not a lot of crime. Not to say somebody can't still rob me, but not a lot of crime. The cameras help. Cameras help a lot. So that fear that kicked in the first couple of days is kind of out the door. There's like a little bit in me, but for the most part, I'm good. I have faith. I hope, pray that nobody tries to rob me. But doesn't matter. Again, big dude cameras don't matter because I'll fight another grown ass man. When there's a couple of y'all, you got a gun, or I can't beat everybody. It could be a little guy walk in here and I act all tough and he puts me right on my ass. Little midget looking dude, just like papa. It happens. But I have faith that I'll be alright. But it also helps that only a handful of people know where I live. So that's good too. I'm going to keep it that way. Not really. Maybe. I like to invite people over for tournaments. So I guess not. I guess people will find out no matter what where I live. But yeah, I've talked enough for 16 minutes. And basically, thank you. Thank you to everyone out there who's tried to help. Thank you to my local stores. Thank you to PIG. Thank you to the Pittsburgh Tribune. Thank you to anyone who's just shown me any love and encouraged this madness. Many poor, bad financial decisions. But I can't believe I got where I got. And in 2 years. And now it's going over 2 years, but I'm continuing. And again, next video, I'll try to somewhat showcase the room. Hopefully it's done. And thank you so much. I love you all. I respect you all. I appreciate you all. And that's it, man. I hope this video was watchable and enjoyable. And peace. Oh, I will say one thing that's going to piss people off. Because I'm not a reviewer. I don't know what I am. I don't have a label. But I saw Castlevania on Netflix yesterday. And I know a couple of people I saw post, not every reviewer and gamer is going to come out and review Castlevania like they know it. I don't know Castlevania shit. I've never really played the Castlevania games, like once. I have no real knowledge of Castlevania. I have assumptions of what the games are about. I assume I know what they're about. But since I haven't played them, I don't know their history at all. I watched the 4 episodes on Netflix last night. And since I'm a Marvel fanatic, and I know 80s to 90s comics pretty well, at least my main characters and teams that I love. And the good thing about the 80s and 90s, a lot of the stories in the 80s into 90s stayed pretty close and true to the originals from like the 70s and original characters, basically beforehand and afterhand. Most of my knowledge is pretty on point with Marvel stuff. I get mad, but I still enjoy when I see a movie and it doesn't stick to the original storyline. So for a guy who doesn't know Castlevania, almost anything about Castlevania, the games or the story, or any history behind it, the anime was dope. I loved it. It was awesome. I enjoyed it so much. Now, if it's not storyline accurate, I can see how that could take away for someone. And people might not agree with me or might be angry if stuff was inaccurate. But as an outsider, when it comes to Castlevania, and how could you be a Nintendo enthusiast and collector and a player? You don't know Castlevania. I don't know every game. I haven't played every game. You have every game. What? I've never played every game. I don't know every game. So many games. There's games I suck. Oh my God, do I suck, and I never pick back up again. Like maybe one day I'll pick up Silver Surfer again. Jesus Christ, that's probably the game I sucked at the worst so far in the Nintendo history. But yeah, I'm an outsider for Castlevania, dude. And that cartoon, anime, whatever you want to call it, Netflix original, was fire. So that's my 2 cents on Castlevania. About to be 90 minutes. Let me be out. Peace.